Eli, Lilly is literally using diet pill money to buy a narcolepsy drug.
6.3 billion for Centessa. They have so much obesity cash, they are just recycling it.
It is brilliant capital allocation.
Oh, come on, it is lazy. They are just throwing cash because Q1 pharma deals are pushing 47 billion and they have FOMO.
Hey, staying skinny and awake is a solid business model.
Wait until we look at the margins on mayo and spices. That 44.8 billion Unilever and McCormick rumor is wild. The rundown.
$44.8 billion for spices and mayonnaise.
You're oversimplifying, but yes, the McCormick and Unilever Foods merger is massive.
I'm just saying, you mash those two together and you own half the grocery store aisles in America. It's a brilliant defensive play.
Defensive? It's a giant target painted on their backs for regulators. The FTC isn't going to look at a nearly $45 billion food conglomerate and just wave it through.
They don't perfectly overlap, though. McCormick owns the flavor, Unilever owns the bulk. It's a supply chain masterclass.
I'll believe it when I see the actual synergy targets in the S4. Right now, it just looks like two slow-growth giants trying to buy momentum.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, Brookfield Wealth Solutions actually crossed the finish line. They officially closed their $3.2 billion buyout of Just Group.
British retirement is big business. Brookfield is quietly building an absolute fortress in the wealth management space. They don't get the flashy headlines, but they execute.
Exactly. Speaking of executing, Hahn Company is cashing out of South Korea. They're selling their used car platform, K-Car, to a KG Group consortium for $498 million.
That's a solid exit. Used car markets are incredibly tricky to scale, so finding a buyer right under $500 million is a win for Hahn.
Totally. Let's pivot to pharma gossip. Biogen is apparently circling Apellis Pharmaceuticals for $5.6 billion.
Apellis shares absolutely spiked on that report, which makes sense. Biogen desperately needs pipeline padding, and Apellis fits the profile.
True. Oh, we also have some proxy drama today.
My favorite kind of drama.
Glass Lewis is officially telling shareholders to vote no on Eldorado Gold buying foreign mining.
I read their note. They're basically calling the premium absurd. The board is trying to sell this as a strategic necessity, but Glass Lewis looked at the math and essentially said, "You're getting fleeced."
It's so rare to see a proxy advisor just nuke a mining deal like that. Usually they just rubber stamp the consolidation.
We also have Unity Group shares going crazy. Rumor is TPG and T-Mobile are looking at an asset buyout.
T-Mobile buying fiber assets makes total sense. They need the backhaul. I'd bet real money that one actually happens.
Don't place your bets until we see the regulatory filings. But speaking of massive cash reserves and pharma deals, we need to talk about the actual big fish today.
Oh, we do. Eli Lilly just dropped $6.3 billion on Centessa Pharmaceuticals.
And they paid for it entirely with weight loss drug money. The big one.
It's wild what happens when a company suddenly has infinite money. Eli Lilly just dropped $6.3 billion on Centessa Pharmaceuticals like it was absolute pocket change.
Well, they need somewhere to park all that weight loss cash. But calling it pocket change is a stretch, Nate. This single deal pushes first quarter biopharma activity to almost $47 billion. That's an enormous quarter for the sector.
Sure, but look at the source of the capital. This is pure GLP-1 money. The obesity drugs are printing so much cash that Lilly's corporate development team is basically playing with house money. They went out and bought a narcolepsy drug.
A highly promising narcolepsy drug. I read the phase 2 data they tucked into the annex of their investor presentation last month. It's actually a very clean strategic fit for their neuroscience portfolio. They aren't just throwing darts at a board here.
Oh, come on, Maya. $6.3 billion? For a sleep disorder pipeline, you can't tell me they didn't overpay. If I'm the banker advising Centessa, I'm taking one look at Lilly's balance sheet right now and adding a 0 to my asking price just because I can.
You're such a cynical former banker.
I'm a realistic former banker. Valuation discipline completely goes out the window when the buyer is sitting on the biggest pharmaceutical gold mine of the decade.
I actually completely disagree with you on the valuation. If you look at the peak sales estimates for this narcolepsy asset, assuming they secure FDA approval, A $6 billion price tag is perfectly justifiable. Centessa was totally undervalued in the public markets. The press release even noted they expected to be accretive by year 3. Lilly just got there before Biogen or Novartis woke up.
Woke up, nice one, for a narcolepsy deal.
Totally unintended, but I'll take it.
I just think we need to call a premium a premium. Centessa shareholders are the obvious winners here. The losers are every mid-cap pharma company trying to buy neuroscience assets right now. You absolutely can't compete with Lilly's checkbook.
That's a fair point. If you're a biotech board right now, you're praying the Lilly M&A team knocks on your door. They're the ultimate white knight, but you have to wonder if regulators are going to start looking closer at how they're deploying this obesity cash.
A white knight with a bottomless wallet rarely goes unnoticed by the FTC. It really is a fascinating shift in market power. But speaking of bottomless wallets and massive premiums, I want to pivot from drugs to groceries.
Yes, please. I've been waiting all morning to talk about the spice aisle.
Because $44.8 billion is a ridiculous amount of money for mayonnaise and garlic powder. McCormick and Unilever Foods are apparently in the final stages of hammering out a true global food mega merger. Voices. I read this analyst note this morning that basically said Eli Lilly is treating the M&A market like a late-night Amazon binge. They just dropped $6.3 billion on Centessa Pharmaceuticals.
Well, when your obesity drug portfolio is printing money faster than the Federal Reserve, you can afford to click buy now. That's what every single commentator is fixated on today. The GLP-1 cash fountain is directly funding this entire $47 billion quarter for biopharma deals.
It's the perfect banker dream. You have a cash cow that requires zero marketing because the product sells itself. So what do? You buy a narcolepsy drug. It's a brilliant pivot.
Brilliant? Oh, come on. $6.3 billion for Centessa is a massive premium. I dug into the trial data on that narcolepsy asset. It's good, but it's not $6 billion good. They're overpaying because the cash is literally burning a hole in their balance sheet.
I completely disagree. You're looking at the standalone valuation. Look at the moat they're building. They're buying the entire nervous system aisle at the pharmacy. Overpaying is just the cost of admission when you want to own a therapeutic category forever.
I'll believe it when I see the revenue integration in 2 years. But speaking of people who hate overpaying, did you see the proxy alert that just hit?
Oh, you mean Glass Lewis throwing an absolute fit over Eldorado Gold?
Yes, they're officially urging shareholders to vote against the foreign mining acquisition.
Proxy advisors waking up and choosing violence is my favorite genre of market drama. It's like corporate reality TV.
It actually makes sense if you read the footnote on their objection. Eldorado is diluting the hell out of their existing base for a copper asset that needs years of heavy capex. Glass Lewis actually did the math on the extraction costs.
Fine, the math works. But speaking of math that completely breaks my brain, I'm still trying to process the scale of this Unilever and McCormick rumor.
$44.8 billion of mayonnaise and garlic powder. I have the proposed antitrust filings pulled up next. Spill the tea.
I'm just saying, the Unity Group chart looks like a meme stock today. TPG and T-Mobile are supposedly circling for an asset buyout, and the market is just eating it up.
Eating it up and asking for indigestion. Look at their debt profile. T-Mobile doesn't want the whole messy house. They just want the nice fiber optic furniture. I'll believe a full buyout when I see the SEC filing.
You're so cynical. A carve-out makes total sense here. T-Mobile gets the network assets they actually need, and TPG does the financial engineering on the leftovers. It's a classic banker play.
Sure, if the math actually works. But speaking of people ruining the fun, did you see the Glass Lewis note this morning?
Oh, they woke up and chose violence.
Totally. They're officially telling shareholders to block Eldorado Gold from buying foreign mining. Usually proxy advisors use a scalpel. Glass Lewis just took a sledgehammer to the entire deal rationale.
I love proxy advisor drama. It's like corporate reality TV. Eldorado thought they had a quiet little mining acquisition lined up, and suddenly Glass Lewis is standing in the back of the church screaming, "I object."
It's rare to see them push back this hard on a straightforward resource play. I need to pull the proxy circular and see what exactly triggered them.
While you read the footnotes, I'm watching Apellis Pharmaceuticals. Shares are surging right now on whispers of a $5.6 billion buyout from Biogen.
That's the Eli Lilly effect in action. Lilly is printing so much cash from their weight loss drugs, they just dropped $6.3 billion on Centessa without blinking. Now everyone else in biopharma is panic buying just to keep pace.
Which is exactly why we need to talk about the biggest rumor on the board. Because if you thought pharma was wild, wait until you hear what's happening in the grocery aisle. Are we really looking at a $44.8 billion condiment cartel? Tomorrow's radar.
I'm setting an alert for the GFL environmental filings tomorrow. They're supposed to close on that massive Texas waste operator.
Waste management, so glamorous. But the real drama tomorrow is the Glass Lewis proxy report. They're actively telling shareholders to tank Eldorado Gold's buyout of foreign mining.
Is anyone actually surprised? The valuation premium was completely absurd.
Oh, come on. It was a totally standard mining premium. You just hate paying for future reserves?
I hate paying for imaginary dirt, Nate. Show me the actual core samples.
Spoken like a true skeptic. Well, while you dig through dirt, I'll be refreshing Edgar for the McCormick and Unilever Foods paperwork. $44.8 billion of pure grocery aisle domination.
If the FTC doesn't block it, you really think regulators will let one company own all the mayonnaise and all the spices?
A monopoly on potato salad. Terrifying. We'll see what the structural filings actually say in the morning.
Assuming T-Mobile and TPG don't distract us by making a formal bid for Unity Group before the opening bell.